Close. Preston, a therapy dog, provides comfort as victims confront admitted sexual abuser Larry Nassar during his sentencing hearing in Ingham County Circuit Court. Sarah Lair, Lansing State Journal. Preston, a therapy dog, stationed outside Judge Rosemary Aquilina's courtroom on Friday. The black lab offered comfort as victims confronted Larry Nassar during his sentencing hearing on charges of criminal sexual conduct. Photo. Sarah Lair, Lansing State Journal. Lansing, Michigan. Preston, a therapy dog, wore a small blue tie Friday, the day 4 of the sentencing hearing for Larry Nassar, a former sports medicine osteopath who has admitted to committing sexual abuse. Preston wears a blue bandana whenever he's working as a canine advocate, though he'll sometimes add a tie to dress up the ensemble for court appearances. It's kind of a signal to him that he's on the clock, so to speak, said Alex Brace, executive director of Smalltalk Children's Assessment Center, a Lansing, Mich.-based nonprofit that serves children who are survivors of physical or sexual abuse. Once he takes off his bandana, it lets him know he can go back to being a puppy who's just wagging his tail and playing around. Quote, the Black Lab interacts almost daily with children who visit Smalltalk for counseling. Preston also works with the Ingham County Prosecutor's Office to comfort children when they testify in court. Read more. Jordan Weber at sentencing. Nobody was protecting use from Larry Nassar. The dog was stationed outside Judge Rosemary Aquilina's courtroom at the Ingham County Circuit Court in Lansing this week as victims of Nassar confronted the ex-Michigan State University doctor about the sexual abuse he inflicted. Nassar, 54, pleaded guilty in November to 10 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct. Those charges could result in a minimum sentence of 25 to 40 years in prison and a maximum sentence of life in prison. Preston, a therapy dog, was stationed outside Judge Rosemary Aquilina's courtroom at the Ingham County Circuit Court in Lansing on Friday, January 19, 2018. The Black Lab offered comfort as victims confronted Larry Nassar during his sentencing hearing on charges of criminal sexual conduct. Photo. Chris Haxel, Lansing State Journal. The plea deal stipulated that Nassar's accusers would be allowed to give victim impact statements in court before his sentencing. The statements began Tuesday in Ingham County and are expected to continue into next week. As of Thursday, 68 women and girls had given statements. The Michigan Attorney General's office expects that more than 100 victims total will give statements by the time Aquilina announces Nassar's sentence. Read more. Larry Nassar, accused of abusing over 100 girls, says he can't mentally handle hearing victims' statements. Most of the statements came from athletes who went to Nassar for medical treatment. Nassar's accusers include Olympic gymnasts Gabby Douglas, Jamie Dancer, Michaela Maroney, Allie Raisman, Simone Biles and Jordan Weber. The statements in court this week have been emotional, prompting tears and, occasionally, applause from the court gallery. Several of the women and girls glared directly at Nassar as they detailed his devastating impact on their lives. Preston, a therapy dog, was stationed outside Judge Rosemary Aquilina's courtroom at the Ingham County Circuit Court in Lansing on Friday, January 19, 2018. The Black Lab offered comfort as victims confronted Larry Nassar during his sentencing hearing on charges of criminal sexual conduct. Photo. Sarah Lair, Lansing State Journal. The experience of confronting an abuser, especially in a crowded courtroom, can be traumatic, Brace said. Preston weighs nearly 70 pounds and his size alone helps children feel protected, Brace said. Sometimes Preston joins plaintiffs when they speak from the witness stand. Preston sits at their feet and rests his head in their laps, allowing himself to be petted during testimony. Read more. Sexual abuse trial. Larry Nassar's downfall started with an email to indie star. During Nassar's sentencing this week, Preston did not appear alongside victims on the stand. He was stationed in the hallway, however, to provide support as people entered and exited the courtroom. Attorneys, victims, family members and news reporters all stopped to pet him Friday. Many took selfies next to Preston in his blue tie. The dog's playfulness provided a rare diversion amid hours of grueling testimony. "He's got an incredible sense of whenever someone's in pain," said Ashley Vance, a small-talk crisis counselor who works as Preston's handler. "He'll go right up to the person who needs it the most and start nuzzling them. He seems to know exactly what's needed." Quote, "Though Preston wags his tail and sniffs at his surroundings, he rarely barks. The 2-year-old puppy has undergone extensive training to follow commands. It's kind of weird to call a dog polite, but I think that's what he is," Brace said. Read more. Judge Aquilina shuts down Larry Nassar's complaints of stress. Media circus. A consummate professional, Preston was sworn in as a canine advocate by former Ingham County prosecutor Gretchen Whitmer in 2016. Preston even has his own staff biography on Smalltalk's website. Preston offers a sense of ease that no human could provide. Vance said, "The kids know Preston will never judge them." Vance said, "It's unconditional love." Quote, "Read or share this story. https://usat. Lee 2dxmlfy